Yeah, here.
Now, I don't want to give anything away, but now I did not read the book yet. I just got a little pamphlet, and but what I found very cool was the villain's name. It wasn't like a Doctor Evil or
Right.
Doctor Robotnik or Doctor whatever, Doctor Frankenstein. It was just like
It's Roy. Roy Higgins.
yeah, it was like Bob. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to give away. I did not want to give away the
No, that's
villain's
fine.
name, but okay. But yeah, it's like Roy, villain Roy. I'm like, that is so cool because it's just like a normal name. What made you choose to go that route? Because it's so unique.
Well, then again, for whatever reason, the original villain, way back in 2000 was always named Roy, and he was just sort of like a pompous jerk who was on the team with them, and the idea was always he didn't like them because he thought Mr. Tuxedo was too old, and he thought Xanar was too annoying. So it was always this kind of pompous guy named Roy, and then as it's changed, that character kind of went away, and this new villain came in, but the name Roy still worked. And the character in the book is kind of like he's like a older wizarding character, let's say, whose story just hasn't been allowed to end. His own bad guy just kept coming back over and over and over again, and it's kind of driven him crazy. And that's why he's kind of the villain, because he's looking for this bad guy and will do anything to like eradicate him from everywhere. And so it just kind of made sense based on who his character was to just the name Roy still worked, and then I needed kind of a good sounding, maybe Englishy name, and Higgins just kind of came up, and I was like, oh, Roy Higgins works.
Now this is a part of the paper cuts line over at
Hmm.
Mad Cave. Now let's remind our listeners and our viewers that paper cuts is actually for younger readers.
Hmm.
That's fantastic because thank you so much, man. Go once again. Our mods are on the ball right there.
And
You can
he's on
pick
top of
this up.
things.
Yes,
It's
you can.
available for pre-order.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, paper cuts is for younger readers. Now, this book right here. I mean, this is fantastic. If I ask this question for a lot of our audiences, and I'm going to steal it from Sophia. If you this were going to be an animated series, who do you see as voicing Mr. Tuxedo?
Oh, well, the spoiler alert: Mr. Tuxedo can't talk. He never says anything, so he is silent. He never speaks
Oh,
in the
okay.
book at all. Xander does
Interesting.
all the talking for them.
See again. Now
So, yeah.
we didn't. We weren't privy to read this, so we don't know. All we saw was a cover. We had a little blurb. That was it. So
Yep.
we're learning just as much as you guys. So I was trying to get so I was trying to get something. I was
I
trying to
got you.
get something. So my God, this is so. Oh, how
Sounds
many?
exciting.
Yes, it
I
does.
mean, the
How many?
visual reference I gave to the artist is like try to think of, if you guys are familiar with like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, like Mike from uh, Better Call Saul. But yeah, he doesn't speak in the book. He can't talk. I don't. The reason why I probably can't say, or I'm not exactly sure if that's what it's going to be, but there's reasons he can't.
Okay.
But like everyone else in his world can. It's not like he comes from a place where they're just animals who don't talk, but
Okay.
it does make him stand out even amongst where he comes from. Is that he can't say anything.
All right. Let's see. Let's make it a mission to see if we can get Sean to actually give some stuff away about the book tonight. That is going to be a mission.
Okay.
So let's see about this. I mean, I love the art here.
Yeah.
The color schemes. I mean, it is just beautiful. Now this is all we got. We just got this cover. You go to the Mad Cave website,
Maybe
maybe
he's not
guys.
mine.
Yes, we go to the Mad Cave website. Go to the paper cups. The link that was just there. That all you guys see is all we see. So it's just unbelievable here. What else can you tell
I
us
like the
about?
anime style.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, again, it's the most I could say is yeah, they're kind of forced together. They both come from places where people don't really want them. Like, very when you meet Xanar, he's this robot that's been created that's being sold to the military because they want to use these kind of robots for, there's like these creatures they're trying to fight and blah, 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 blah. But Xanar's personality is just, he's very optimistic and friendly and wants to be friends with everybody, whereas they want him to be kind of like a war machine sort of thing, and they can't figure out how to change him, and so they kind of just throw him in the supply closet because they have no use for him. And then Mr. Tuxedo, he's part of this group of, it's like I said, it's kind of based on like a kid's show where it's like they're all these like Arctic kind of animals and they solve Arctic mysteries while you learn about the Arctic, that sort of thing.
Ooh.
But he's kind of older. He's kind of been there for the longest. Everyone he joined with is no longer there, so he's kind of the older one that people don't really respect and don't think he really should be around anymore. So I like the idea of these two characters that where they come from, no one really wants them, but when they find each other, they find each other and want each other and need each other and form this like group and friendship to take on Roy, who's causing all these problems.
All right, that was my next question. The message of friendship. That's one of the things where I talked to the powers that be at Man Cave and said, at Mad Cave, excuse me, and said, I need to get Sean on. I want to talk about this. Is the ultimate weapon. The message about friendship, that concept, why focus, why hone in on that, and why did you want to preach that, if that's a strong word, but why did you want to preach that message of friendship?
I think it just came out of the fact that I think it became out of that because I just love these two characters are just such good friends together. Like, I just love these two characters together, and then like the power of their bond is what helps them through things. And so coming off of that, then, the main villain, you kind of make it think like he's a very lone wolf kind of person who does things on his own and thinks he doesn't need anybody else, and also is kind of like everyone's going to let you down or go away eventually. And so it's just kind of this idea that the world is very hard, but if you've got someone next to you, that might make things a little bit easier. And that's kind of like I said, in this one, they go to like a Jane Austen type world. And so I wanted the first book to kind of be about meeting someone. So Xander and Mr. Tuxedo are meeting each other for the first time. And then parallel to that, there's this Jane Austen world where there's these two other people who are kind of like coming together as well. And sort of, how do you meet new people, and then how do you bond with them, and then how do you become like a partnership, that sort of thing.
Okay. How many issues do we have planned so far?
Well, there's only the one volume planned. I would certainly love to do more, but it depends if it does well enough. But I would love to do at least 3 more or so.
All right, guys, let's go. Let's start with the pre-order. When does the book come out? Hey,
It comes
Don,
out, July 7th in bookstores, and then July 8th in comic book stores.
All
Okay,
right.
good to know.
Now, good. Jar Jar Jeremy is in the house. And
Jar Jar.
One quick second. We have.
By the power of Grayskull.
We have to play that for Jar Jar Jeremy. He's part of the Angry Geeks family. My
I
friend.
do podcast. Yes. How you doing? Welcome in.
So with the character design, how many different designs did we go through with Xanar and Mr. Tuxedo? It's kind of a given. I mean, you draw.
Yeah. His was pretty quick. She basically turned in one, and I said, maybe let's just make the beak like not as wide, and that was basically it. And then Xanar, she kind of nailed his personality right out of the gate. It was more about just the color, like what his outfit was and the color schemes. I think the original outfit she put him in was maybe too busy, with a lot of like more pockets or jingle jangles hanging off of it and stuff. And so it was just about it was just about streamlining it and kind of getting the right colors down. But again, she's amazing. So it's like, I would say Xander didn't really look like how I exactly pictured him, but it was almost a thing of like, I don't know if I pictured that, but you drew him so well that it's like, yeah, that's him now.
Where did each of their personalities come from? Were there inspirations from a personal point of view? Were they someone in your life, a pet? Where did each one personality come from?
Originally back in 2000, Xanar wasn't a robot. He was just a person, and I kind of based him off my best friend at the time in high school, who was, I think, is very funny, but can kind of be like obnoxious and make a lot of
Jar Jar.
jokes. Make a lot of jokes. So I kind of originally based him on that, and then then Mr. Tuxedo was kind of just like, well, if someone's kind of being a little more lively and jokey, you have the person who's very serious looking next to them. And then as that became Mr. Tuxedo, then Xanar kind of evolved to being less like sarcastic and that kind. He just got more positive because I liked the dynamic of, grumpy silent guy and then optimistic smiley guy, and then he became a robot because it was like this kind of person doesn't really make sense or exist, or I can't square this circle. So that's, again, he became a robot because it was like, I don't see a person who could be like this. Oh, maybe he's not a person, he's a robot. So then that's how that all happened. So like it's evolved a lot over these years.
What was the pitch to Mad Cave and Paper Cuts?
It was a pretty long one because the story was, I had written with a friend of mine these chapter books for Disney Publishing with Spider-Man in them, and my friend had a book editor, or not a book editor, a book agent, and so I saw that this book agent also did graphic novels, and I was like, ooh, I got this idea, and so I wrote to her and was like, I see you do graphic novels, what do you need for a pitch? And she's like, I need 3 pages of plot synopsis, character breakdowns, a bio on you, and then also the first 50 pages of the script as well. I was like, oh boy, okay. I'm happy. All right, let's do it. And that took a pretty long time. And then by the time I turned it into her, she wrote back and said, well, I don't do graphic novels anymore. So I was like, oh, that stinks. But the nice thing is I now had this, like, because usually if I send pitches, you don't want to send too much. I'll send 2 or 3 pages of stuff. But now I had, a pretty sizable thing that lays out the whole plot, has whole 50 pages of script and everything. So I had this thing, and then I knew the editor-in-chief at Mad Cave, Mike Martz. He was my old boss when I worked as an editor at Marvel, and I saw that they had this Paper Cuts imprint, and so I took a chance and was like, I got this giant pitch now. What do you guys think of this? And then kind of forgot about it, and then 6 months later, shockingly, they wrote back, we're like, yeah, this is great, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
All right.
Nice.
Hey, we gotta pay some accolades. We gotta pay some bills. Sophia.
All right, so the Erica Legacy Foundation is a foundation that exists that helps people that are in need emotionally or mentally going through a hard time. If you are a loved one that you know is going through a hard time, please reach out to the Erica Legacy Foundation, and here is the website. They help hundreds of people every day.
It's now time for Quiz with Quimsel.
And Sophia on the beat, we turning heads, bringing heat to the street. Get ready now, it's our time to shine. Feel the rhythm, every move is divine. Feel the madness, it's a party in your soul. Feel the madness, let the good times roll. Feel the madness, come and join the ride.
Okay, so today's question is, well, actually, I asked the question and you answer correctly. The first person to answer is going to be our guest, then Chat, then Lewis. The question today is, which 1980s pop icon covered Chappelle Rowan's Pink Pony Club on YouTube?
I don't like that look, Sean, because I was relying on you.
I don't like that question.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Which 1980s pop icon covered Chappelle Ronan's Pink and Pony Club on YouTube?
I think it's Chapel Roan, maybe?
Chappelle Ronan.
I know all the words in that sentence. I just don't know the answer.
Okay.
I mean,
Chat?
if I had to take an 80s...
80s.
I would. In my head, I want to
Toad?
say this. Toad.
Billy Idol?
In my head, I want to say this before Chat.
Mhm.
because I didn't Google this. In my head, I got Prince.
I think he's passed away.